Welcome to San Antonio's Influence Magazine show, the premier talk show where we introduce you to influential individuals doing significant work in the city of San Antonio and surrounding areas. Celebrate the spirit of business, leadership, and innovation. If this is your first time joining us and you'd like more information, you could find us at influencesa.com. That's influencesa.com. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and for this particular episode of the show, all future and past episodes of the show, pull up your YouTube search bar, toss in San Antonio's Influence Magazine show. When you get there, please subscribe, give us a like or a thumbs up, and hit that bell so that you don't miss any future episodes of the show. Welcome to the show, folks. I'm your host, Cedric Fisher. Today's guest is an emerging leader in music, cultural journalism, and she's also a mental health advocate. Her name is Kiana Fitzgerald. Her debut book is titled Ode to Hip Hop. When we come back, we'll introduce you to Kiana and we'll talk to her about her book, her music, and her mental health advocacy. Stay tuned.
As I developed an appreciation for my personal originality and uniqueness, I began to love the fact that I was different. As I uncovered my individual preferences and my interests, I became comfortable with the real me.
Presented by Cedric D. Fisher and Company Publishers. In a world where identity is often challenged and cultures collide, one woman's journey shows us the power of resilience, self-discovery, and the unbreakable bonds of family. Born in Hong Kong and raised in America, Helen Yee faced the struggles of finding her place in a new land. Confronted by racism, cultural differences, and personal adversity, Helen's story is one of courage and determination. Inspired by her grandfather's legacy of integrity and entrepreneurship, Helen embarked on a journey of self-discovery. She learned to defend herself against all odds, even fighting off an armed carjacker and escaping with her life. Through the discipline of martial arts, music, and entrepreneurship, Helen found a way to reconnect with her heritage and discover her inner strength. She became a successful business owner and a professional musician, proving that it's never too late to pursue your dreams. I Belong Here is a powerful memoir that takes readers on a journey from the streets of Hong Kong to the heartland of America. It's a story of family, friendship, and the unbreakable bonds that tie us all together. Helen's journey will inspire you to embrace your own uniqueness, face your challenges head-on, and find your place in the world. It's a testament to the human spirit and the power of believing in yourself. I Belong Here, Living the Life I Was Born For in America by Helen H. Yee. Available now wherever books are sold. Discover the extraordinary story of a woman who found her voice and her place in the world.
Kiana, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we got two types of folks out that are going to be viewing this episode, those that know you and those who do not. So for the folks that don't know you, just tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. So my name is Kiana Fitzgerald. I am from Seguin, Texas. So I am from this area. I am someone who is very invested in music. I've been listening to hip hop specifically since before I can remember, and it's become a very big part of my life and career. As a journalist, I am someone who tends to cover the latest releases, the biggest news, the things that are happening in the culture that are impacting the individuals within it and the people who are consuming it. So I am very invested in just trying to propel hip hop forward. And aside from that, I live with bipolar disorder type 1. It's a very big part of my life because I experience mental health episodes such as mania and depression. and they really impact me from beginning to end. So I try to be an advocate for mental health. I try to write about mental health from a personal and professional perspective. And I also, I try to just inform people, because I think there's a lot of misinformation and there's just a lot of confusion about what mental health and mental illness is.
You've been diagnosed?
Yes,
Bipolar?
I had my first bipolar type 1 episode in 2016, actually, so it's been 10 years. And I was diagnosed in 2017.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you think about where you began, are there any moments or places that really are foundational to you becoming a cultural critic in the business that you're in now?
Sure. So the moment that I can pinpoint the most specifically is being in college. I want to say it was 2010. So I was a junior or sophomore, somewhere around there in college. And I was, again, a big fan of hip hop. It was something called the blog rap era at the time, which is when Drake came into the picture, J. Cole came into the picture, other artists like that, Kendrick Lamar. So I was going to all of their shows when they first started.
Where'd you go to college, by the way?
I went to Texas State University.
Texas State University.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
TSU.
Yes.
Right.
So, so my first concert ever was Drake. He had just put out So Far Gone, which is his breakthrough mixtape. And I just remember being enamored with it. I was just listening to it recently because I just wanted a throwback moment. But I knew then, and then the following concert, my second concert ever, was J. Cole. And he performed here in San Antonio at, I think it was called the Mink. It was this lounge that I think I was still 20, so I still had like the X on my hand. So I couldn't even really be there, but I was there because I wanted to see him along with my other friends who are all girls. And we were his number one fans. We were right up front rapping every word. And I will preface this by saying he was very close to us. The stage was probably that high off the ground from the table. And it was a strip. He was just walking back and forth. And we were rapping every word in his face. I remember rapping Lights Please with him, eye to eye. I still have it on YouTube. So those experiences solidified within me that I knew that I wanted to pursue music journalism. I didn't know it was a possibility, but I knew that I loved it, and I knew that I wanted it to be a part of my life.
So would you consider that one of the earlier influences that really kind of dictated what your current work and where you were going?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a myriad of experiences. I would say in the beginning it was more based around me being enamored with music. Yeah. And just knowing that I wanted to be a part of this environment, and thinking at the moment that it was too far-fetched, and thinking, there's no way that I could ever do this. Just feeling like there's no other path for me, but I don't know if this is possible. So I was like, I'm just going to be a sports manager. I love sports. So I was into football and basketball, and I was like, I'll go ahead and just pursue that career. And then I remember being in freshman orientation in college at Texas State, and they asked me, if you want to change your major, now's the time. And I was like, do I want to be a sports manager? Is this really my path? And I wrote down journalism instead. So that was the moment that I was like, I'm going to try to make something happen. But it just seemed like a dream. It didn't seem possible.
But that's when you knew this was your calling, and you made the commitment because you wrote it down.
Yes, exactly.
You got into journalism.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've written essays, cover stories, books, criticism. When did you kind of realize that writing was your thing? Yes,
so I'm going to take it back a little bit further to when I was in high school. I had a teacher named Miss Weber, and I haven't talked to her in decades. I hope that she's still with us. But
where'd you go to high school?
I went to Seguin High School.
Seguin High School?
Yes, absolutely.
Go Seguin?
Yes, go Matadors. But yes, so my teacher at Seguin High School, Mrs. Weber, she was a fun and charismatic teacher. She knew how to engage her students in a way that was silly but still serious, and she knew how to help us to reach our potential. So there was an assignment that she gave out one day where we had to write headlines, and I remember whipping them up and just sitting there and be like, okay, I did it. And she came over to me and she was like, Kiana, like these are really good headlines. Have you ever considered writing? And I was like, well, maybe, but like I didn't really consider it. Like it was just something that was in the back of my mind. Like I knew that I liked to write in my journal, for example, but I didn't know that I could pursue a career in writing. And so that was the first moment that I was like, someone can see my potential. Someone can see something in me where I can be bigger than I ever dreamed. So yeah, Mrs. Weber, shout out to her.
So she gave you a topic or gave the class a topic and then you had to just write a headline?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was like if I remember correctly, this was a long time ago, it was like chunks of information and we had to make a headline based on the information that we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you came up with some good copy points.
Yeah, some good headlines. And
Yeah.
I still make great headlines to this day. So she was onto something.
So how have you managed to make your voice distinct in this big universe of cultural journalism and music?
Yes, so I've made my voice distinct within cultural criticism and music journalism by honestly towing the line of objectivity. I, as a Black woman from the South who lives with bipolar, who is bisexual, I have all of these very, very identifying factors about myself, and they impact who I am. And when things happen in the world to people in my demographic, I want to write about that. So I want to bring information, bring voice, bring perspective that is helping people to understand different walks of life. I want to use my voice to be engaged with the community, to be in conversation with the community. And I want to be able to help people to understand that, just because, I'm not going to say a specific outlet, but just because some outlets don't value diversity and diverse voices doesn't mean that we all shouldn't.
Okay, so that's kind of your niche or your purpose-driven
absolutely.
kind of pursuit.
Yes, I can write about anything, but that's what really makes me passionate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about your book.
Yes.
And this is Ode to Hip Hop.
Yes.
And this can be described as sort of a love letter to the genre.
Yes.
Unpack that a little bit for us.
Yeah, so this beautiful book, illustrated by Ye Abe, is my baby. This is my first book. I was cold emailed by my editor, Ada, at Running Press, which is an imprint of a Shipbook group. She reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in working with her. And as we had more and more conversations, it became apparent that we were going to work together very well. So this book is her idea, but it is my creation. And she gave me creative control. It's absolutely everything that I think about hip hop and what I value in hip hop. And it's controversial. I'll say that because people have their opinions about what should or shouldn't be in this book. And I have my opinion. So I'm grateful that I was the one that was chosen to share my perspective of hip hop. Yeah. But I do know that there's always a conversation to be had about the key players, the core tenets, all of those things that make hip hop what it is. I talked about 50 albums that define 50 years of trailblazing music. And then I also have, interludes about, hip hop soul, about political and conscious hip hop. I also have, just additional pieces of content at the end of each chapter about certain other things that were going on at the same time as the albums that I wrote about. So there are all kinds of little fancy, accoutrement, I like to say, on the cover and within the book. It's very fascinating. It's a fun read. So I really love this book. It's a big part of who I am.
Controversy sells book copies.
So I've heard.
We're going to take a quick break. We're here with Kiana Fitzgerald. We'll be right back.
Influence starts with connection through video. Video marketing builds trust, attracts high-value clients, and turns followers into customers. But without the right strategy, it's just noise.
I help health and wellness and personal development leaders become in-demand influencers on camera, deliver a message that attracts their dream clients, and turn their videos into real revenue.
Learn how to elevate your personal brand and stand out as a trusted expert. Discover how to deliver compelling messaging that resonates with your audience. Learn to overcome fear and master confidence on camera with authenticity.
I created the on-camera video marketing Launchpad to give you the jump start that you need and deserve.
Results start the moment you do. Tap the link or scan the QR code to learn more with On-Camera Video Marketing Launchpad.
Great book. Are there any future books or writing projects that you're currently working on? You want to share those with us?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. My second book will be coming out on February 12th in the UK and February 24th in the US. It is called Queens of R&B.
Queens of R&B?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm still in the music world.
What was that US debut date?
Yes. So the US will be February 24th.
February 24th. Gotcha.
Yes. So that book is similar to this one in that I was given creative control and allowed to select all the artists that I wrote about. And again, I think that my picks will be controversial because everybody has their opinion of who is R&B and who is pop. And I think that it's not that simple. So yeah, the next book that I'm coming out with is equally a labor of love. And it's something that I think will help people to understand the Queens of R&B better than we did before.
Okay. Controversy sells copies.
Yes, it does.
Remember that. So you're big in music, and in your background, you have a personal relationship with music currently. But did it start early? When did you kind of realize that you were really into sound?
Yeah. Oh man. So I would say I can't remember like being a baby or anything like that. Like it's not a memory that early, but I do remember being around maybe 6, 7, 8, something like that. And my mother, who has passed away at this point, but she and my brother, my sister, and myself would go for car rides out in the country of Seguin. We used to have land out on McKnight Road, which is my maternal family's last name. So we used to go out and just drive in the country and listen to music. And I remember hearing UGK. I remember hearing the Geto Boys, specifically Diamonds and Wood and Mind Playing Tricks on Me. So those two songs are embedded in me from that time. I remember being just enraptured by the music, enraptured by the verses, wanting to learn them, wanting to be within them. I just remember being so fascinated. And also I remember not saying anything when we rode in the car. Like, we just listened to music. We didn't communicate. That was our communication. So it was one of the most beautiful experiences that I had, was being able to be with my family and enjoy this genre together. And I think that's why it is such a powerful part of who I am today.
Back then, did you listen to every word? Were you really into the lyrics and memorized all the words?
See, that's the thing. My sister is the lyrics person. She can rap, sing, do anything to any song. But I was more of the totality. I wanted to hear the entire song from end to end. I wanted to hear the voices flow over the production. I'm more of and I'm still like that to this day, I'll admit. I'm still hearing lyrics from songs that I've known for years. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know you said that. Like, I still am picking up on things, even though I know I'm a music writer. It's still, the priority for me is, what is the whole experience? What am I getting out of this in totality, as I said? So, yeah, I just remember being, very invested in the sound of the experience. Not quite the lyrics. I know lyrics here and there, but like, I'm just about the sound. That's me.
Okay, so you're really kind of dissecting the entire production.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, all the engineering and everything.
Yes.
To make sure everything.
The bells and whistles, all the things.
Sounds like a DJ. So does being a DJ affect your writing style or your writing content?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So being a DJ, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm Manny Fresh or anybody like that. Like, I'm not the world's best DJ. I love to make mixes. I love to play at clubs when they have free time for me. But I'm not like the most, well-versed DJ in the world. But that said, DJing and writing about music both help me to understand music better. So with DJing, I feel like just going back to what I just said, like I love to hear the sound of the whole experience. And when I DJ, I am able to go from one song to the next song and identify the elements that are similar, the BPMs, the keys, all the things that make these songs what they are. They help me to better understand. DJing helps me to better understand the song. And with writing, I just love to help people to understand what an element is in a song and what the context is within the song that people might be unfamiliar with. I love to help people to just understand things better. That's why I do what I do. I love to inform people, I love to educate people, and I love to help people. So I feel like DJing and writing both give me that opportunity to be in communication with the music and to understand the music in a way that the average person doesn't. And that's not to say that I'm better than anybody, but I just think that other people don't really comprehend the magnitude of what's being offered to us in music.
Well, you may not be a Manny Fresh quite yet, but he had to start somewhere too.
Correct, thank you.
And we hear you pretty good anyway.
Yeah.
Let's switch reels at this point. Let's talk about mental health. So you've built a pretty good community and social media around the topic of mental health.
Yes.
When was it that you kind of accepted, embraced this as part of you and decided to go public with it?
Yeah. So this is an interesting story. My first episode in 2016, I went missing. I was living in New York City. I was in the Bronx at the time, and it's a long story, but I'll just say that I went missing and my friends and family went into a tailspin, and I became a trending topic on Twitter. There were missing persons flyers posted around. Everybody was looking for me. So 36 hours elapsed before I was found in a hospital. But I haven't had the opportunity to be private about my mental health because of that. When I got out of the hospital and came back to Texas, my sister, she was asking for help on Facebook and things like that. God bless her. And, people were just like, where is she? What happened? So I came out and I was like, I had an episode, but I don't even think I said that. I think I was just like, I was in a hospital. I was mistreated. I'm suing this hospital. I was still manic. So so people were like, we're glad you're okay. So that was kind of the beginning of the experience. And in 2018 is when I wrote about it for the first time. I actually wrote about it because Mariah Carey came out with her own revelation of being bipolar type 2. So I was like, this is my opportunity to share my story in my own way, not just what everybody has seen through the grapevine. So yeah, I started writing about it back then, and in 2021 I started making TikTok videos about my mental health and about bipolar disorder specifically. Mm-hmm. And I've built a community of around 20,000 people. I haven't uploaded as many videos in recent months and years just because I'm very busy and it's a time-consuming thing to create at the clip that I was creating. So I'm glad that my page is still there. It's still a living, breathing, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a living, breathing, existing thing that people can refer to at any time. They can always go back and watch my videos and watch my explanations of, what happens with the bipolar type 1 episode specifically, things like that. So yeah, I've decided to be public because I didn't really have a choice. But as I have continued to, be vocal in this space, I'm learning that people need information. People just don't know about mental illness.
Very true. Absolutely. Yeah. And you're still under management of your disease, or
yes, so
medication and
yes,
otherwise. Okay.
Absolutely. I take medication. I take antipsychotics, mood stabilizers, anxiety medication. I take everything. Yeah. But it's keeping me stable. It's keeping me at my baseline. Mm-hmm. And I also, I think it's important to note that it's not just one thing that can help you get better. because I'm also in therapy. You know, I have a psychiatrist, I have a psychologist.
Okay.
So it's like there are many things that work together that make me healthy. So if anything gets off, I'm off. So I have to be very on top of everything.
Yeah. Good. Well, you sound terrific.
Thank you.
You look great.
Thank you.
And that's very close to my heart. I have a daughter that's dealing with mental illness. So, and she's in the same types of programs, and it kind of goes in and out of it at times.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes she's good for a year.
Yeah.
And then relapses.
Yeah. Relapse. Exactly. That I don't think a lot of people understand that mental health episodes are called relapses because they're just as serious as an addiction issue. And I know for me, I'm addicted to mania. I admit it. Mania, if you don't know what it is, it's the feeling that you get when you're on the higher end of bipolar disorder. So I tend to have my head in the clouds. I feel like God is talking to me. I feel like my favorite rappers love me. I feel like all the things in the world that are good and magical are gravitating around me. So I know that that's not a healthy thing to want to achieve or aspire to that feeling, but I've described it as one of the most pure and natural highs you could ever have. It feels like you're on drugs, but you're not on drugs, which is why people always assume I'm on drugs when I'm in manic episodes. They think that I'm on something, and it's just my brain. It's just the brain chemistry.
Your forum it's in social media. Is it specifically for bipolar patients, or?
So it's what I talk about.
Okay.
Because it's what I'm familiar with, but it's not just for bipolar. It can be, I've had, people with schizophrenia, schizoaffective, come into my comments and thank me for speaking about the subject. And, there are even people with ADHD and autism. Like I've built a community with people in those spaces as well.
Yeah. Very good. We applaud you.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
What conversations about mental health in creative industries aren't happening but should be?
Yeah.
What are some of the things people are not talking about but should be?
Thank you for that. That's a really important question. So I feel like I'll say this. I recently wrote an open letter to Kanye West about bipolar type 1 and about his behavior over the past few years. I was stern in the letter because I wanted him to understand that you have done a lot of damage and you have a lot of making up to do and you have a lot of apologizing to do.
He said he's done a lot of damage.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Kanye West has come out as bipolar type 1 recently, and he in his apology ad that he took out in the Wall Street Journal, he basically said, I'm sorry, bipolar is a beast. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't expect forgiveness right away, but I do aspire to it. And, I responded to that. So I want people to understand that even though, yes, I do have this very, stern perspective of you need to do better, there are still parts of that apology ad that are real. And I want people to know that you don't have to understand the intricacies of bipolar disorder or mental illness, but you do have to have a baseline understanding. And a lot of people don't even have that. So for Kanye, he's talking about how, mania can make you feel like you're invincible and you don't need any answers from anybody. You have the answers. And I relate to that. So the things that he specifically described are true. But people are not in a position to comprehend that both things can be true. That you can need to atone, you can need to apologize, but you also are telling the truth about what you went through, and you do need grace and compassion. So I think it's the understanding that I want people to really flow into. I want people to just try to put yourself in their shoes. I don't think people try to think outside of themselves when it comes to mental illness. I think that people are quick to call you crazy or insane or psychotic with some people without even a diagnosis. And I think that's brought us to the position we're in right now, which is very precarious. I don't think people understand mental health in the way that they think they do.
We're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back with some final questions. We're here with Kiana Fitzgerald. We'll be right back.
We are always trying to fix something, but we must start with forgiving. We must begin to open our hearts and follow God. We also must learn to forget, because if you don't forget, then you haven't forgiven.
Presented by Cedric D. Fisher and Company Publishers. What if the path to healing your deepest wounds began with a single, powerful choice? To forgive. In The Blessings of Forgiveness, Blaise Labbe takes us on an extraordinary journey from the struggles of a childhood marked by colorism, racism, and family secrets, to finding hope, redemption, and the courage to heal. Blaise's story is one of resilience, of rising above the pain of a fractured family and systemic prejudice. His journey takes him from a small Louisiana neighborhood to the heights of success as a journalist and leader, but it's the lessons learned along the way that define him. Blaise discovered that forgiveness was not just a gift to others, but a pathway to his own freedom. This memoir is a message of hope for anyone seeking healing from their own struggles. Blaise's reflections on race, faith, and the enduring power of love remind us all that the hardest roads often lead to the most beautiful destinations. The Blessings of Forgiveness by Blaise Labbe. Available now wherever books are sold.
How have you learned to balance advocacy and protecting your own mental well-being online? Because that's quite a dance.
Yes, it is. And I feel like I'm still perfecting that dance. I'm not the best when it comes to taking in comments and, reading what people say about what I've done or written or whatever. It's very easy to get under my skin. I'll say that. I wish I was, a little bit more thick-skinned, but especially when it comes to mental health things, because I care so much and I want people to understand what this is. So when I first started making videos in 2021, I was reading every single comment. I was commenting back to everybody like every single time, every single video. And then it got to a point where I was not receiving the kindest words. I think it was, I can't remember the specific video, but it was just like something that people had diverging opinions about. And that's when the kind of trolls started to come in, and I was like, uh-oh, I don't like this. So yeah, from that point, I ended up handing the comments over to my sister and telling her like, hey girl, I can't read them anymore. If you can just let me know the good and the bad from your voice, I trust you. If you could just let me know, I would appreciate it. So she started to read my comments, and I'm not going to say that I don't ever read the comments, because I do sometimes, especially when they're from my friends and my peers. But when it comes to just strangers on the internet, I try to avoid that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you gotten better at it at all, or you've been practicing, or you just decided I'm not reading any comments?
Oh man, I mean, I think I'm getting a little better.
Hand it over to my sister and walk away. Turn my back.
I think I'm getting a little better because I do understand that conversations have to happen in the comments. Mm-hmm. Like this is where you build community. This is how you encourage engagement. And I know that I should do it more often. And I have friends who tell me all the time, hey, you should get in there. It's a lot of good stuff in there. And sometimes I do. I'm trying to get better about it.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to think about this question a little bit. What's the one thing people don't know about you but should?
I would say that I have over 24 journals. I've been journaling since I was about 13. So I've been documenting a lot of life, not just my own, but other people's, the world. And I have a lot of personal information that I think would help a lot of people, just in terms of like growth and development. So I really want to write a memoir very soon, because people have been asking me to share my story for years, and it must be a good story, if people are asking me to repeatedly share my story. So I just want people to know that, like, I have what's the word, reserve? I have a reserve of journals that are going to unfold my life in a very, very intentional way.
Okay.
So yeah, know about my journals, y'all.
In due season, it'll all come out, right?
Yes.
It is going to be a good book. Just what we've learned today. It's an interesting, compelling background.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're just getting started because you're still a young person and got a lot of future.
Yeah.
A lot of future ahead. Last question. Great book. I'm going to get my copy and can't wait to dive into it. Where can folks find this book and get more information about you?
Sure. So people can find this book pretty much anywhere. You can find it in Barnes & Noble. You can find it in Target. You can find it on Amazon. It depends on your specific relationship with those outlets. I don't know what people prefer, but you can also just Google Ode to Hip Hop Running Press, and they will give you specific outlets that you can go through that are, a little bit more palatable.
Yeah. Good. How about more information about you, or if they want to get in touch with you?
Yes. So my most active space at this point, I would say, is my Substack. I write about things that I don't write about in my day job. So you can find me there. It's just kianafitz.substack.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Outfoxed. That is OUTFOXXED. You can find me on X/Twitter at Kiana Fitz. And you can find me on TikTok at Kiana Fitzgerald.
Kiana Fitzgerald, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I had a wonderful time.
We'll see y'all next time.